order to audit a voice system, PBX, we don't actually require any software to be installed inside the customer's network. All we need to do is tell it what type of system we want to audit. And you can see here from this list, we support all of the major voice systems out there. So we tell it what type of system we want to audit. We tell it how we're going to connect, which could be a direct IP connection. It could be through a modem, a RAS or VPN connection, or even a direct serial interface. So for some of the legacy systems that don't have remote access, you can put a light version of the software on a laptop, go to site, plug it straight into the back of the PBX and do an audit that way. We're also in the process of rolling out what we call our universal decoder, which is a standalone applet that can literally be given to a customer. They run it from a command prompt and it captures all of the data, packages it up into an encrypted bundle, and we can then process that away from the system. So again, making it sort of really easy for the customers without having to mess around with firewalls and things like that. We tend to do a single audit when we're doing a migration, but for large audits or in life, we might want to basically, do multiple audits over a period of time. So, if I look at an existing system, we can see that you can set up as many audits as you like, and you can do one-off audits as well. What you can also do is drop backup files onto it as well. So if you have a backup, you can literally just drop that file straight on there and it will audit it automatically. Now, let me show you what that looks like when it gets into the system. So I can click on sites and it will show me all of the existing audits that are within the system. And as I said, it normalizes the data. So it doesn't matter whether we're looking at a Mitel, Nortel, Siemens, Avaya, data is always presented in the same way. I'm looking at a Mitel system here, and it's showing me that there's been 16 audits between these two dates, and that I can go and basically pick any one of those audits to look at if I want to. By clicking on the main tree view, we get an overall view of the system, and we can see each of the cabinets, each of the cards within the system, the type of card and device, its circuit ID, and if we look at IP devices, we can see it goes down to telling us what keys are programmed against it and even a network connection. So we see here this is an IP device. It's a 5235 extension. The extension number is 5030. We've got its MAC and IP address, and we can see all the buttons. Now, obviously, that's quite. Sorry.
You get so if you had we've actually got a potential customer at the moment, which I think this might be really good for. So they've got an Avaya estate. And they want auditing of the phones, effectively. So what phones have they got out there? When have they last been used? What are the firmware on there? Things like that. Will this do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So is it an Avaya CM estate they've got?
I believe so, yeah.
Right, okay. So with the Avaya CM estate, we're going through a similar process within a large international bank. Basically, what we can do is literally on a daily basis, you could do this. You could audit the entire estate and capture all the CDR data as well. So from that, you can see what phones are plugged in and live, when they were last used, what the model is, what the firmware is. And, if you start then blending in edge switch information, we can then even tell you whereabouts that phone's plugged in the network as well. So for IP phones, obviously. So yes, absolutely something you can do. For that sort of scenario, it wouldn't be a one-off audit because you want to get utilization as well. So we'd probably recommend putting the software inside their network and doing audits, probably 2 or 3 times a week. Because the Avaya's got this funny thing that it only shows the IP address, MAC address when the user's actually logged into their phone. So you probably want to do multiple audits and blend that data together.
Okay, and does it only? And will it automate that? So if you set it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
So in fact, the way that I'll show you a full-blown automation in a moment, just so you can see that in action. But okay, so we sort of tree view, but obviously there's a lot of granularity of detail there. So we can pull that out in more simple form. So we can get a list of all the extensions and the models and types and class service, and we can even drill down and look at what that phone looks like, with all the buttons programmed against it, its membership of pickup groups. And if we've captured call data, how many calls they've made in the last month as well. Because when you're doing migrations, typically we're seeing that somewhere in the region of 20% of all devices programmed on a PBX are either not in use or not even plugged in. And if you're going from, say, an Avaya to Teams, you could be looking at a cost of between £20 and £30 per device per month in terms of licensing that isn't being used. So really worth looking at that during a migration plan. We obviously capture all things like the hunt groups, pickup groups, ACD groups, and all of that information. And we also pick up the route plans. Now, route plans on legacy PBXs are notoriously complicated. And with large estates, you tend to have route plans that dictate how systems are interconnected. I mean, we can see here just for the digit 9 for an outside line here. Yeah, we're seeing that it goes through 9 and 11 digits goes to this list, which goes to these routes, and 900, which is international. Well, that's going to the same list, as is America, as is special services and directory inquiries. So even though we've simplified this, there's still repetition there. So to get around that, what we've done is create a visualization of it. So if we look at the YMAP view of ARS, and I'll just focus in on the digit 9, we can see here that the digit 9, actually everything is going to the same lists and same routes. So we've just massively simplified that entire ARS route. Obviously, if we can visualize the route plans, we can visualize the PBX as well. So we can literally treat it as an interactive Visio diagram, drill down, look at the cards, and look at all the detail.
Okay.
And the same goes for ACD platform or ACD programming on these PBXs as well. If I just pull up a more complex one, so let's look at, say, this MyVB MyTel system. I can also do the same for ACD and IVR here. So I can see here for this particular call path where it overflows to, where the primary skill group is, all the members of the skill group, any recordings that are in place, and what IVR buttons to exit out of the call flow there is as well. Again, even though we're simplifying this and, even pulling out things like call forwarding and any speed dials and things like that, there's still a huge amount of information